Fable of Purnajan. King Prithu's son was Vijitashu. In his lineage later on occurred a king named Pracinabarhi. King Pracinabarhi had many sons. All of them were known as Prachetas. They were all devotees of God and had been sunk in devotion since their childhood. Pleased by their devotion, once Lord Shiva appeared before them. With simplicity, Prachetas asked, "O Lord of the Lords, we have been worshipping Narayana. How did you arrive before us?" Lord Shiva said, "Those who have devotion for Narayan are also dear to me." Thereafter Lord Shiva gave them Rudra Geet, which the Prachetas continued to sing for years immersed in the water. King Pracinabarhi had a great interest in oblations that involved sacrifice. One day Devarshi Narada asked him, "What are you doing, O king? Miseries don't end by action alone, nor does one get supreme joy. The animals which you have sacrificed for your oblations also feel the pain given by you. They are all waiting for you in the heaven. When you go there after death, they will take revenge one by one." Frightened by these words, King Pracinabarhi took shelter at Narada and said, "Devarshi, my mind is caught in the actions. You kindly show me the way to the supreme salvation." At the request of the king, Narada narrated him the tale of Vigyat and Avigyat. At the behest of Avigyat, Vigyat migrated to and settled in a beautiful city. There he met the queen Purnajani and got married to her. He was so much indulged in sensual pleasures with Purnajani that he became a woman in the next birth. As a woman, Vigyat got married in due course, but was widowed soon. She wanted to commit sati, self-immolation, but people prevented her. One day she was traveling on an elephant, when she spotted some swans in the sky. She asked the Mahout to look at them. As soon as the Mahout's attention diverted, the elephant got out of control and both of them fell on the ground and died. As she was looking at the swans at her last time, she became a swan in her next birth. As a swan she reached the lake Mansarovar, where she met her old friend Avigyat, who consoled the swan. "You are neither a man nor a woman. We are both swans now. You are same as me, no different from me." It means that there is no difference between the living beings and the God. There is only one soul. It's because of non-knowledge that one sees the God and the living beings differently. Thus cautioned by his friend Avigyat, Vigyat realized and accepted his incarnation as a swan. But the king Pracinabarhi didn't get the meaning of the spiritual tale. Narada then revealed, God is Avigyat while microcosm is Vigyat. Avigyat has established 84 lakhs cities and asked Vigyat to select any one of them. After sorting lakhs of cities, the microcosm selects a city like the human body. That city has a lake in the center, the belly, from where the whole city is controlled. Again it has 9 gates, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, 2 ears, 1 reproductive organ and 1 anus. It is such a highway, treading which no one returns. It has 2 courtiers, mind and ego. The living being passes his life caught between them. Queen Purnajani is the intellect in this body. Because of this intellect or non-knowledge, the living being or microcosm begins to feel in terms of I, my, and me, for his body and organs. All the 10 organs are his friends, through which the living being experiences the sensation and performs action. Inclinations of the organs are his friends. All the 5 pranas, breaths, are the 5-hooded serpent that guards the body. Old age is Kalkanya, who launches an attack on the city, human body. Shoka and Moha, sorrow and attachment, are the 2 brothers of Kalkanya. Kalkanya is married to Chandavij, who is also known as Varsh, year. It has 360 Gandharvas, days of year. 12 months are his 12 commanders and 7 days are the ministers. They all together plunder the human body like the city of Purnajan. Thus, covered by ajnana, non-knowledge, the living being, which has a great pride on his body, virtually wastes his life suffering different kinds of pains. From this mystical preaching, Pracinabarhi's inclination for Vedic karma-kands, action, and temptation for mundane luxuries were removed. By the grace of Devarshi Narada, the king got a perception of God and living being. He at once abdicated his attachment for the body and concentrated his mind in God. 5th chapter, Tale of Priyavrata. Hearing the tale of Pracheta's devotion and receiving God's grace by them, a curiosity arose in the mind of the king Parikshit about self-knowledge and grihesat dharma, duties of a married person. He asked Shukdev, O Brahman, Priyavrat was a supreme devotee and self-indulgent. Why did he then live in grihesti, married life? Married life is binding from all sides. Great men never long for married life. Even then the king Priyavrata lived a married life, yet he regularly prayed to God. This is an intriguing subject for me. Kindly remove my doubts. Seeing Parikshit's curiosity and doubts, Shri Shukdev said, O king, you are right that once receiving God's grace one can't leave it. No attachment, no love remains in him for life. The prince Priyavrata was a great devotee of God, Bhagavad Bhakta. By the grace of Narada he had instinctively become aware of Paramarth Tattva, knowledge that leads to salvation. He had dedicated all his actions into the feet of Lord Vasudeva. Thus, an intense inclination for detachment developed in Priyavrata since his childhood. So, Lord Brahma tried to admonish him. Son, you are too young yet to be an ascetic. Since the moment you have acquired the human body, enemies like kama, sex, krodh, anger, moha, affection, lobh, greed, mada, ego, matsya, jealousy, etc. have been continuously chasing it. We are all bound to follow the path laid down by God. We should serve Him by our action, accepting our body, which the God has given to us, and the merits associated with it. Hence, you first enjoy the luxuries given by God, thereafter you will be free to do what you wish. Thus, as per the dictate of Lord Brahma, the king Priyavrata accepted 2 wives. His first wife was Prajapati Vishwakarma's daughter Bahismati. She begot 10 sons: Agnidra, Ignjihva, Yagabahu, Mahavir, Meranireta, Savan, Meltithi, Driprisht, Vitihotra and Kavi. Priyavrat's second wife begot 3 sons: Uttam, Raivat and Tamas. Out of these 10 sons, 3 became celibate. All the 3 sons from the second wife became the lords of different manvantaras. Despite leading married life, the king remained an ascetic. In his chariot, he travelled around the land and divided it into 7 parts and appointed each of his 7 sons as the lord of one island. Agnidra, the eldest son, was given Jambudweep. He was married to an Apsara Purvachatti. She had begotten 9 sons who became the ruler of the 9 parts of Jambudweep. Merudevi was the wife of Agnidra's eldest son Nagri. As a gift of Yagya, Lord had taken an incarnation in his home. That incarnation of Lord is known as Rishabdev. Tale of Bharata. Rishabdev was married to Jayanti, the daughter of Indra. Jayanti gave birth to 100 sons. Bharata was the eldest among them. The youngest 9 sons became Yogeshwars. 81 sons accepted Brahmanism. Remaining 9 brothers followed their elder brother Bharata. One day Rishabdev called a meeting of his sons and preached them about the well-being of human beings. Sons, he said, never misuse this human body. You have got this human life by great luck and God's grace. He does not deserve to be called as a friend, teacher or father who does not preach his friend, disciple or son about the welfare of the self. Preaching that Rishabdev enthroned Bharata and himself departed for his supreme abode. The king Bharata was a great devotee. By his father's permission he had married to Panchajam, the daughter of Vishwarupa. They begot 5 sons. Bharata dedicated his religious actions to Lord Vasudeva. Thus by the purification of his actions, his conscience was also purified. So he transferred the kingdom to his son and himself took an abode in Pulahashrama, hermitage of Pulaha, on the banks of the river Gandaki. There he passed his time in the worship of God. One fine morning, when he was performing libations in the river, a pregnant doe arrived on the opposite bank to drink water. At that time a lion roared somewhere in the forest behind her. Frightened by the roar, the doe jumped into the river to save her life. But the doe lost her life in the action while her fetus fell in the river. Feeling pity for the fawn, Rajarshi Bharata took it and began to foster it. Day by day Bharata's affection grew for the fawn. Slowly he became irregular in his daily routine. But Bharata loved the fawn more than his routine. When the fawn grew into a deer, by its natural instinct it joined its mates. On his return, Bharata did not find the deer and grew so restless that he died out of depression. As his mind was fixed on the deer at death, he was born in his next birth as a deer. Bharata was a prudent man. But affection did not spare even him. What would be the fate of common people then? They are easy targets of the feelings and are more vulnerable to fall prey to attachment and affection. When a derangement occurs in the intellect of man, he begins to conduct irreligiously, but thinks that his behavior is religious. Realizing his mistake, Bharata as a deer, came to his hermitage and once again began his penance before God. Even in deer incarnation Bharata had a strong feeling of detachment. When Bharata's deer incarnation ended, he took his next birth in a Brahman's home. Sometime after the birth, his mother died. By God's grace Bharata had remembrance of his previous birth. So he always remained immersed in reflection on Hari, God. To avoid attention he posed himself as an insane, stupid, blind and deaf person. Even his brothers neglected him, seeing his inertia. Now he was free to wander at will. He was satisfied with what he got and doing menial jobs. During that period, a thief, who had no son, wanted to offer a human sacrifice to Bhadrakali in desire of a son. Searching a right person for the sacrifice, his men found and caught Jadabharata. In Brahman incarnation, Bharata was known by this name because of his inactivity, who was guarding his farms then. Jadabharata remained quite indifferent and did not even resist his kidnapping. The thieves took him into the temple. There, as soon as the chief of the thieves raised his sword to kill Jadabharata, Bhadrakali appeared from the idol and beheaded all the thieves. It shows that one has to bear the fruit himself of the crime committed. But Jadabharata did not experience this and remained quite unmoved as before. In another incident, the king Rahugna of Sindhu was riding a palanquin to the hermitage of the sage Kapila. On the way, he fell short for one hair, carrier of the palanquin. His men found Jadabharata, who was wandering nearby, and yoked him also in carrying the palanquin. Jadabharata was walking cautiously so as not to tread on even little creatures. Hence, the king was getting jerks and a bumpy ride. He scolded at the Kehas. The Kehas informed him that the new recruit was causing him those jerks. The king Rahungana then scolded at Jada Bharata. Hey, are you so frail that you can't balance the palanquin properly? Don't you know that your master is riding in it? Wait, I'll teach you a lesson. Jada Bharata stood fearlessly. The king was stunned to see him. It was then that Jada Bharata opened his mouth to utter his first words. He felt that he had carried the king on his shoulders, and though the king was a haughty man, but my life will be a sheer wastage if I don't preach the king a way to salvation. So with a desire of benefiting the king, Jada Bharata said, O king, life and death, strength and weakness are the virtues of the body, but the soul is sinless. I have put all my burden on the shoulders of the God. You too have great burden on your head. Lord of everyone is one. Even your senses are not in your control. How then will you control your subjects? O king, only knowledge is the form of the soul. By knowledge alone you can recognize the soul. Union with one homogeneous and holy supreme being is the true introspection. But as long as you don't bear the dust of great men's feet on your head, you will not recognize the God. Hearing these words, the king Rahungana fell at the feet of Jada Bharata and begged his pardon. Jada Bharata then preached the king about the metaphysical knowledge. Listening to the tales of the God continuously is the only way to concentrate one's mind in Sri Hari. In my previous birth, I was the king of Bharatavarsh. But because of my attachment for a deer, I was deviated from the path of supreme knowledge. Hence, I had to take birth in deer form. But by the grace of Lord Krishna, memory of my previous birth persisted in a deer incarnation also. So in my present birth I prefer to stay away from the people and wander secretly. So, from now on drop your attachments and start reciting God's name. By the virtues of his tale alone you will easily get him. O king, the body is like a merchant, who is roaming on the earth borrowing this wealth of age. It has lost its wealth in useless worldly affairs. One day arrow of the Kalp will snatch everything from it. So, the human being must utilize their invaluable moments in the training of the supreme knowledge. Description of the extent of the landmass. Hearing the tale of the king Priyavrat's lineage, Parikshit asked Shukdev, O great sage, what is the expanse of the landmass? I wish to hear a description of it along with its islands, because this world is a tangible idol of God along with his virtues. Hence, knowing it intangible, infinitesimal form of God can also be known. Shukdev said, O king, illusions created by God are so vast that nobody can find their end. Therefore, I will describe main features of the world with the help of name, appearance, extent and symptoms. King Priyavrata has divided the earth into 7 islands. These islands are 1. Jambudvip, 2. Plukshadvip, 3. Shalmalidvip, 4. Kushdvip, 5. Kronjdvip, 6. Shakdvip and 7. Pushkardvip. All these islands are surrounded by 7 seas, which comprise of saline water, sugarcane juices, and wine, ghee, milk, wine and sweet water respectively. Extent of each island is double than that of its preceding one. Jambudvip, Shukdev says, situated in the center of the world is Jambudvip. It has an extent of 1 lakh yojan. It has a round shape like a lotus leaf. It has 9 zones each with an extent of 9,000 yojan. These zones are called Varsh. 8 mountain ranges mark the boundaries of these Varsh, which are arranged in circular fashion. At the center of the Varsh is the 10th Varsh named Ilavrit. In the center of Ilavrit is Meru. Names of other 9 Vaj are Kinpurusha, Harivaj, Kamyak, Hiranmal, Kuru, Bhadrashva, Ketumal and Bharata. Such as the Mount Meru is surrounded by Jamudvip, similarly Jamudvip is surrounded by a vast sea. Because of a majority of jamun, blackberry, trees, this island is named as Jambudvip. Plukshadvip, as there is a huge jamun, blackberry, tree that is 1100 yojan high in Jambudvip. Similarly there are innumerable Pluksh, Pacorficus pinctoria, trees in Plukshadvip, hence its name. Agni, fire, is the venerable god in this island. Priyavrata's son, King Idnjihva was the ruler of this island. He divided it into 7 parts and made his 7 sons the ruler of these divisions. These 7 divisions were named Shiv, Yavas, Subhadra, Shant, Kshem, Amrit and Abal. These divisions have 7 mountains and 7 rivers. Plukshadvip has an extent of 2 lakh yojans. It is surrounded by an ocean of sugarcane juice. Shalmalai Dweep, just double in extent than Plukshadvip, is Shalmalai Dweep. It has a majority of Shalmali, silk cotton, trees, which comprise the abode of Garuda, the king of the birds. Priyavrata's son Yagabahu was the ruler of this island. He too made 7 divisions in the island as per his sons Surocham, Devavaj, Paribhadra, Ramnak, Soamanasya, Apyayan and Avigyat. This island too has 7 mountains and 7 rivers. 4 classes of people inhabit this island. They worship Vedmay Chandrama, the moon with Vedas. This island is surrounded by a sea of wine. Kushdvip, this island is surrounded by a sea of the ghee. It has an extent of 8 yojans, and a majority of kush shrubs. From the light of their tips, kush shrubs illuminate this island. Priyavrata's son Hiranyakashipu was the ruler of this island. Dividing the island into 7 divisions, he too appointed his 7 sons as the ruler of each of these divisions. These divisions are Vasu, Vasudhana, Drihirichi, Navigupta, Stupyavrata, Vivikta and Vamadv. People of Kushdvip worship the fire. Kronjdvip, with an extent of 16 lakh yojan, Kronjdvip is surrounded by the Sea of Milk. There is a gigantic mountain named Kronj on the Dweep. After this mountain the island is known as Kronjdvip. Priyavrata's son, King Bharata was the ruler of this island. He too divided the island into 7 divisions and distributed them between his 7 sons, 1 to each son. The names of these 7 sons are Am, Madhuru, Meghprisht, Sudma, Mrajisht, Lohitran and Vanaspati. Inhabitants of the island worship Varundev, Neptune, the lord of water. Shatavip, surrounded by the Sea of Ve, is Shatavip with an extent of 32 lakh yojans. It has a huge tree of Shaka, hence its name. With a sweet fragrance of this tree, the whole island emits a pleasant scent. The ruler of this island, Megtithi, was also a son of Priyavrata. He too had 7 sons: Purojav, Manojav, Pavmana, Dumranik, Chitraref, Bahurup and Vishwadhar. They were made the rulers of the 7 divisions of the island. People of the island use pranayam to weaken their rajoguna and tamoguna, and worship Hari, Vishnu, in Vayu, form, through meditation. Pushkar Dweep has an extent of 64 yojans. It is surrounded by a sea of sweet water. There is present a huge lotus flower with 1,000,000 golden petals. This lotus is regarded as a seat of Brahma. Priyavrata's son Vitihotra was the ruler of this island. He divided the island into 2 divisions, and made his sons Ramnak and Dhataki the rulers of these divisions. Inhabitants of this island worship Brahma appearance of Sri Hari, Vishnu. 6th chapter Tale of a Jamil. The king Parikshit requested Shukdev, O preacher, so far you have related about the way how to overcome attachment for worldly things. Inadvertently, the living beings commit some kinds of sins or crimes. O great soul, now kindly tell me the way by which humans can get rid themselves of the tortures they are supposed to be subjected to in the hells. Shukdev said, a sinner is sure to be tortured in hell, unless and until he had observed penance for his sins in his present birth. But even penance is no guarantee of his salvation if the person indulges again in sins thereafter. It is all because of ignorance that desires to commit sin does not end. Spiritual ways are, thereafter, necessary. Adopting spiritual ways like penance, celibacy, tranquility, self-restraint, abdication, truthfulness, holiness, restraint of passions and discipline, even the most serious sins are destroyed. Alternatively, taking refuge at the God or developing a devotion for Him, all the sins can be destroyed. O Parikshit, such a sanctification of the sinner as achieved by dedication to God, is rare even by observing penance. Shukdev narrated the tale that was once related by Muni Agastya. In the town of Kannauj, lived a Brahman named Jamil. He had married to his mistress. Being with an unchaste woman, his Brahminical virtues had been destroyed. Now, Jamil earned his living not by performing holy tasks, but instead he resorted to petty tricks like plundering, deceiving and even killing people to feed his family. Once, a group of Mahatmas, ascetics, came to the town. People greeted and offered them with edible items. But the ascetics refused to accept anything. They said that they would accept the food only from the household where holy food is cooked for the Lord. Irritated people showed the ascetics the way to Jamil's home. From Jamil, the ascetics accepted the alms and themselves cooked the food, and offered it to God and ate themselves. Now the heart of Jamil and his wife were filled with expiation. The ascetics wished to cause some benefit for Jamil. They said to him, if you get a son now, please name him Narayana. Ascetics' words did materialize and Jamil got one more son, the 10th one. As per ascetics' advice, Jamil named him Narayana. Being the youngest son, Narayana was very dear to Jamil. He used to remember Narayana always. Everything was passing as usual, when the time of Jamil's departure arrived suddenly one day. Yamdutas, agents of Yam the god of death, began to take him for his last journey. Not seeing his youngest son Narayana before him, Jamil began to call out loudly, Narayana, Narayana. Hearing the calls, servers of Lord Vishnu too arrived there and challenged Yamdutas. The frightened Yamdutas said, we are the servants of Dharmaraj. Why are you stopping us? Servers of Lord Vishnu said, if you are the servants of Dharmaraj, define dharma, religion, then. Yamdutas said, actions dictated by Vedas are dharma, religion, in true sense, and the actions forbidden by Vedas are adharma, irreligious, and Veda is Narayana himself. The servers said, you are unaware of Param Dharma, supreme religion. This sinner has called out the name of God, so his sins, from the past crores of births, have been washed away. Now he is no more a sinner. Wise men say that recitation of God's name by any means as a name of someone else, in derision or derogation, automatically does away with all the sins. This is the bounty of God's name, that a mere remembrance of it, whether wittingly or unwittingly, does destroy all sins. Hearing this dialogue, Jamil awakened, as if from a long slumber. Yandutas had returned to Yamaloka by then. But, the abject sinner Jamil had recovered from the snare of death. Without losing a moment, Jamil went to the banks of the Ganges. There, drinking the holy water of the Ganges, he left his body and went and found a place in Vaikuntha Loka, the abode of Lord Vishnu. Dialogue of Yam and Yamaduts. Shukdev says, Parikshit, when the servers of Lord Vishnu failed the attempt of Yamdutas, they returned to Yamaloka and complained Yam about the event. O Yamadev, we had so far known that you are the sole authority of punishing the people as per their deeds. Nobody had dared so far to violate your rule. But today those 4 servers of Lord Vishnu openly caused violation of your dictate. Yamraj silently prayed Lord Vishnu and said, Lord Narayana is the Lord of all living things. He is the Lord of me also, and I myself keep an account of the sins and pious deeds of the living beings by his order only. All the gods, Digpals, guardian of the direction, Shiva and Brahma etc., all of them follow his dictates. The greatest duty of all the living beings is that they should achieve a dedicated devotion for the Lord. Sons, just look at the bounty of Lord, that even the sinner like Jamil escaped the news of death simply by calling out the names of the God just once. So, from now on you never go near those people who are reciting Lord's name or are his devotees. Bring only the sinners to me. Birth of Daksha from Prachetas. Shukdev says, 10 sons of the king Pracinabarhi were known as Prachetas. They observed severe penance under the sea. When they re-emerged, Chandra, the moon, the ruler of the vegetation, calmed them and presented a beautiful daughter of the Apsara Prablocha to them as their wife. From her, Prachetas begot Prachetas Daksha. In due course the subject of Daksha spread all over the world and populated far-off places. Daksha created, first of all, the gods, the demons and the human beings who inhabited the heaven, the earth and the waters respectively. But Daksha was not still satisfied. He therefore went to Vindhyachal and started a severe penance there. Pleased by his penance, God appeared before him. By the permission of God, Daksha Prajapati married with Ashinki, the daughter of Panchama Prajapati. From Ashinki Daksha got 10,000 sons named Haryashv. In due course Daksha asked his sons to reproduce. But instead of reproducing they all reached Narayana Sarovar on the banks of the river Sindhu, Indus, to a place of pilgrimage beguiled by the preaching of Narada about Bhagavad Dharma. Daksha again produced 1,000 sons named Shavlashva and asked them to reproduce. But they too followed the footsteps of their elder brothers, and took no interest in worldly affairs. Narada preached them also about Bhagavad Dharma. When Daksha came to realize that Narada had converted his sons into ascetics by his preaching, he angrily cursed Narada to be a wanderer forever with nowhere a place to stay on. Narada accepted Daksha's curse and blessed him with a boon to have 60 daughters for the continuation of his subject. By the virtue of the boon, 60 daughters were born in the home of Daksha in due course. When they grew up, Daksha got 10 of them married to Dharma, then 10 to Kashyapa, 27 to Chandrama, 2 to Angira and Krishashwa, and remaining 4 daughters were married to a Kashyapa named Tarakshya. The entire world came to be populated by the offsprings of these 60 daughters of Daksha. Shukdev says, Parikshit, the names of Dharma's 10 wives were Bhanu, Lamba, Kakubi, Jami, Vishwas, Sadhya, Marutwati, Vasu, Muhurta and Sankalpa. Daksha's daughters Sarupa and Bhuta were the wives of Bhut. Sarupa begot uncountable Rudragans, 11 of them are prominent. Gut's second wife Guta gave birth to formidable spooks and Ganas like Vinayak etc. Angira's first wife Swadha gave birth to Pitragans while his second wife Sati accepted Aved Athavanigra as her son. Krishashwa's wife Archi begot Dhumraksh, while Dhrishna Krishashwa's second wife gave birth to 4 sons Vedshira, Deval, Vayun and Manu. Kashyapa named Taraksha had 4 wives Vinta, Kadru, Patangi and Yamini. Birds were born to Patangi, while Yamini gave birth to moths. Vinta's son is Garuda, who is the vehicle of Lord Vishnu. Arun was her second son, who became the charioteer of Surya. Nagas, snakes, were born to Kadru. 27 daughters of Daksha were married to Chandrama, the moon. These are the 27 nakshatras like Kritika etc. But Chandrama had particular love for Rohini, so he got tuberculosis and hence could not produce a child. Names of Kashyapa's 13 wives are Aditi, Diti, Danu, Kashta, Ariha, Sursa, Illa, Muni, Krodh, Varsha, Tamara, Surbhi, Sarama and Timi. These are the mothers of the whole world. All the gods, demons, animals, giants etc. were born to them. Insult of Brihaspati by the gods. Shukdev says, O Parikshit, Indra had become very haughty by the luxuries he received as the king of the gods. One day, Devraj Indra was sitting on his throne along with his queen Shachi. His court was full of courtiers. 49 Maruganas, 8 Vasis, 11 Rudras, Aditya, Ribhugnas Vishwadev, Shagyagnas and both Ashwini Kumaras were present in the court. Groups of Siddhas, Charos, Gandhavas, Vidyadhars, Apsaras, Kinnars, Nagas etc. were singing in his praise and programs of dance and music was on. Acharya Brihaspati, the revered teacher of the gods, arrived there. But, despite having seen him, Indra did not show any respect for Brihaspati. Indignant Brihaspati, he at once deserted Devaloka, the abode of the gods. When Acharya Brihaspati had gone, Indra realized his mistake. He at once launched an extensive search for Guru Brihaspati. But no one could locate Brihaspati. Feeling of insecurity in the absence of their Guru, strongly agitated the gods. On the other hand, when the demons came to know about Brihaspati's missing, they began to intimidate the gods. By the permission of their teacher Shukracharya, the demons launched an attack on the Devaloka. Feeling sad by the pitiable state of the gods, Indra went to the refuge of the Brahma, who told the gods that they were suffering because of their wrong policies and disregarding their learned Guru. Brahma also told the gods that the demons had strengthened their position because of their loyalty to their teacher Shukracharya. Brahma advised the gods to request Vishwaroop, the son of the sage Twashta, to become their teacher. He is a sound scholar of Vedas, great ascetic and abstemious person. Serving him, Brahma said, "You will be free from all the crises." Following Brahma's advice, the gods made Vishwaroop their teacher by request. Ascetic Vishwaroop used his Vaishnavi Vidya to annihilate the wealth and power of the demons and endowed Indra with those powers. Vishwaroop also preached Indra about the infallible Vaishnavi Vidya. Thus securing himself under the shield of this knowledge, Indra defeated all the demonic forces. Preaching of Narayana Kavak, shield, to Indra by Vishwaroop, the king Parikshit asked, "O Lord, kindly relate to me the knowledge, Vaishnavi Vidya, by the power of which Devraj Indra easily defeated the demons." Shukdev says, "Parikshit, now I am telling you about the knowledge that was once taught to Indra by Vishwaroop. So listen to it carefully with concentration. Whenever you feel yourself haunted with fears, You must guard your body with this Narayana Kavak, shield. But before that it is necessary to purify oneself by bath, meditation, libations, pranayam, control of breaths, and 8-lettered and 12-lettered mantras of God. The hymnal Kavak, shield, must be then recited facing north while reflecting on the divine appearances of God. May the God, who rides Garuda and holds conch, wheel, make and lotus, protect me from all sides. May all the incarnations of God protect me from all the lusts, affection and desires and in all the circumstances. Thus may I be protected in water by Matsyavata, on land by Vamanvata, in sky by Trivikrama, from Kampida, sexual desire, by Sankadat, from Kuptya, diseases, by Dhanvantri, from ignorance from Veda Vyasa, from the hells by Kachchap Avatar, tortoise incarnation, in the war by Narsingha Avatar, in the way by Varah, on the top of the hills by Parshuram, during exile by Lord Rama along with Lakshmanji, from Maran Mohan Abhicha, death, by Lord Narayana, from ego by Nara, from obstacles by Dattatreya, from the bondage of actions by Kapila, from disregarding the God by Hagriv Mutri, from the crimes by Narda, from the impostors by Buddha and from the faults of Kali Kal may I be protected by Kalkai Dev. May I be protected in the morning with Megh by Keshav, with flute by Govind in the day, by Narayana Shakti before the noon and may I be protected with Sudarshan Chakra by Lord Vishnu in the noon time. May the all-knowing omnipotent Lord protect me in every circumstances. May the name, appearance, vehicle, weapons, and all the services of Sri Hari protect my mind, intellect, organs and life from all the calamities. This Narayana Kavak, shield, saves one from all kind of calamities and fears. Killing of Vishwaroop and making Vajra with the Dhichi bones, Vishrupa became the second Acharya, teacher, of the gods. He also saw overindulgence of Indra in luscious objects. Vishwaroop's mother belonged to demon clan, so he had some inclination for the demons also. Stealthily, he supplied parts of offerings of the oblations to the demons. Very soon, Indra too came to learn that their teacher Vishwaroop was stealthily nurturing their enemies, the demons. So, indignantly Indra severed the head of Vishwaroop and to get rid of the sin of Brahmahatya, killing of Brahman, Indra distributed his sin among the land, water, tree and the woman folk, and himself escaped the sin. To take revenge of his son's murder, sage Twashta organized a yagya with the purpose of having a son who could kill Indra. The yagya finished successfully and as soon as the offerings ended, a formidable demon appeared from the altar. The demon was named Vritrasur. Very soon, Vritrasur defeated Indra and other gods and conquered all the three worlds. Terrorized by his power and gallantry, all the gods ran into the refuge of Lord Narayana. Pleased with their faith and prayers, Lord Narayana advised them to please the great sage Dadichi and ask for his bones to build a Vajra, make. From that Vajra Vritrasur could be killed, God assured them. Thus, all the gods, headed by Indra, reached the hermitage of sage Dadichi. There they very humbly and respectfully begged for his bones. For the benefit of the world, sage Dadichi gladly accepted to donate his bones. With those bones, Vishwakarma built a massive Vajra which had 1,000 edges. Thus by the power of the Lord and acquiring a divine Vajra, Indra felt extremely strong. He at once launched an attack on the demons' armies and drove them away from the battlefield. Killings of Vritrasur by Indra. Shri Shukdev says, O Parikshit, from the gallantry of the gods the demon army began to fled. Seeing his army running away in panic, Vritrasur got infuriated. Charging ahead, he stopped the gods' army from advancing. He roared loudly. Many of the gods fainted from the frightening thunder of the roar. Advancing, Vritrasur routed the fallen fighters. Even the earth began to shake because of his momentum. Devaraj Indra could not bear it. He made a powerful blow on Vritrasur with his make. Vritrasur held his make in the way and hit Airavat, Indra's elephant, with it. Feeling the pain of the blow, Airavat moved back. Then Vritrasur scolded Indra, who had killed Vishwarupa, the brother of Vritrasur. "O Indra, you have killed my brother Vishwaroop without any reason. Now, I will gore you with my powerful trident. Or you may behead me by your Vajra. Your Vajra has the power of the sage Dadichi and the glory of Sri Hari. But, Indra, with you Vajra, I will get rid of the bondages of my body and get salvation at the feet of Lord Vishnu. So kill me with your Vajra." Thus, even in the battlefield, Vritrasur experienced direct existence of God. He prayed God, "O Lord, may my mind reflect constantly on your auspicious virtues, may my voice always recite your virtues, may my body always be in your service. I don't want salvation without serving you. My mind is writhing for your sight." Shukdev says, "Thus, O Parikshit, Vritrasur had wished to leave his body in the battlefield and get the god. He did not want to enjoy the luxuries of the heaven, defeating Indra." Calling out these words, Vritrasur hit Indra with trident. But Indra cut that hand of Vritrasur, which was holding the trident, by his Vajra. Losing his one hand, Vritrasur was very outrageous and hit Indra's chin and Airavat's forehead with his elbow. Because of the blow, Indra dropped his Vajra, which fell near Vritrasur's feet. Indra was now feeling too ashamed to pick up the Vajra. Vritrasur said, "O Indra, pick up the Vajra and kill your enemy. It is not the time to be gloomy." Indra showed his respect to Vritrasur for his truthfulness and undeceitful words, and said, "O great demon, you are really great. Your patience, determination and devotion for God are really remarkable. You have surmounted the illusion of God that confuses ordinary ones. You are a great man born in demon family." Vritrasur again raised his wheel to hit, but Indra cut his second hand. Now, having lost both his hands, Vritrasur shook the earth with his heavy steps and swallowed Indra along with his elephant. Everyone was beginning to feel sorry for Indra, but because of Narayana Kavak, Indra remained unhurt even in the belly of Vritrasur. Thereafter, Indra lacerated the demon's belly and came out. Then he cut Vritrasur's head also. At that moment, soul of Vritrasur annihilated in the Supreme Being. All the gods then greeted Indra for his victory. Vritrasur was a religious king Chitraketu in his previous birth. Because of the grace of Narada and Angira, he had received detachment and supreme devotion and began to roam everywhere as a Siddha Purusha, one who achieves perfection. Once he was traveling on the aircraft gifted to him by the gods. He saw the Ardhnarishwar, half male half female, appearance of Lord Shiva and said something in derogation. Indignant of his discourtesy, Mata Parvati cursed Chitraketu to take birth in a demon clan. Because of that curse, Chitraketu appeared as demon. But even in demon incarnation, his devotion for the Lord's feet persisted as before. 7th chapter, Removal of doubt about God's partiality. The king Parikshit asked, "O fortunate one, God is said to have an equal view for everybody. Why then does he favor the gods alone? Why does he kill the demons only? Thus I have some doubts regarding God's impartiality. Kindly remove them." Shukdev says, Parikshit, God's sketches are so vivid that even the great sages can't comprehend them fully. Even then, just by reciting these surprising sketches of God, one receives the supreme position. Accepting the virtues of this illusion, God acquires the opposing forms of killer and killed occasionally. Virtues like Satya, chastity, Rajas, royalty, and Tamas, darkness, are of nature, and not of God, and hence keep rising and falling with time. When Satguna, chastity, rises, God adopts the gods and the sages and causes a surge in their number. A rise in Rajas, royal, virtues sees a surge in demons' number. While a rise in Tama, darkness, virtues leads to a surge in the population of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, ogres and other supernatural beings. But God is in fact impartial. Shukdev says, O king, once Devarshi Narada had related an incident to your grandfather Yudhishthira. I am narrating it to you right now. Your doubts will be removed. Tale of Jai Vijay. During the Rajasuya Yagya in Yudhishthira's court, Lord Krishna had beheaded Shishupal with his wheel. Everyone, including Yudhishthira, saw Shishupal's soul annihilating in Lord Krishna. Surprised, Yudhishthira had asked Narada then, O Devarshi, isn't it surprising that Shishupal, who was so jealous of Lord Krishna, got merged in him? Such fortune is even rare for the great yogis, ascetics. How did then this rival of God get such a supreme fortune? Narada said, O king, criticism, praise, serving or negligence are all confined to the body only. When the soul is identified with the body, people suffer from the impact of scolding and abusing. God has no ego like ordinary beings, because he is the supreme soul and ultimate. If he punishes someone, it is for one's benefit and not for any anger or jealousy. Therefore, one must concentrate his mind in God no matter what his feelings are: enmity, devotion, fear, affection. In God's view, these feelings don't make any difference. Narada said, Yudhishthira, in my opinion, it is certain that the concentration achieved through a feeling of enmity is rare to achieve otherwise, even with devotion. This is the reason why uncountable number of sinners, who had strong enmity for Lord Krishna, merged with him. Your cousins Shishupal and Dantavkara were fortunate. They both were the gatekeepers of the Lord. It was by curse of Brahman that they had to be relegated and take birth as sinful demons. Narada said, O king, Brahma's Manasputras, sons begotten by thoughts, Sankadi Kumars, were freely roaming all over the universe. Once they reached Vaikuntha, the abode of Lord Vishnu. But assuming them to be ordinary boys, the gatekeepers Jai Vijay did not allow them in. Indignant by the behavior of the gatekeepers, Sankadi Kumars cursed them, Fools, both of you don't deserve a presence near God. Both of you are endowed with Rajguna and Tamoguna, royal and dark virtues, so go and take birth as the demons. When both the gatekeepers were falling from Vaikuntha, the kind Sankadi Kumars said, Okay, the effect of our curse shall long for your 3 births only, thereafter you shall return to Vaikuntha again. Tale of Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu. By the curse of Brahmans, the gatekeepers of the god, Jai Vijay, took their first birth as the demons Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh. Diti was their mother. Hiranyaksh had stolen the earth and hidden it in Sutala Loka, causing worries for Brahma. To remove the worries of Brahma, Lord appeared as Varaha Avatar, the boar incarnation, and killed Hiranyaksh. After the killing of Hiranyaksh, his elder brother Hiranyakashipu, gods reached to Brahma and prayed to put the fire off. Brahma at once appeared before Hiranyakashipu and said, Son Hiranyakashipu, your penance is over now. Now seek a boon of your wish. Worshipping Brahma, Hiranyakashipu said, May I not be killed by any living being created by you, may I be killed neither in day nor in night, neither by humans nor by animals, neither by weapons nor by arms, neither on earth nor in sky. May no one match me in war. May I be an undisputed emperor of all the living beings. Pleased by his penance, Brahma granted Hiranyakashipu that rare boon. By the virtue of Brahma's boon, Hiranyakashipu grew extremely strong. Now he had no fear of death, so his atrocities increased day by day. He defeated all the gods, human beings, demons, demigods. Everyone accepted his superiority. Now, Hiranyakashipu began to reside in heaven itself. He also made an all-round declaration, all the people who worship or even remember Vishnu, shall be put to death in my kingdom. Nobody else is God except me. Thus all the gods and demons began to worship Hiranyakashipu and presented him with gifts to please him. Gandharvas, Siddhas, sages, apsaras etc. all began to sing in his praise. Narada says, O Yudhishthira, Hiranyakashipu had such a brilliance that he began to receive the offerings himself of the yagas performed by Brahmins. On all the 7 islands and up to the heaven, it was his dominion. Now he was freely and lavishly enjoying all the luxuries. Maddened by the luxuries, he even began to violate the rulings of the scriptures. Perplexed by his harsh rule, all the gods went into the refuge of the Almighty. Through a celestial voice, God comforted them, Don't be afraid, O gods. I am aware of havoc caused by this demon. I will destroy him, you wait for some more time. When he will begin to torment his calm and devotee son Prahlad, I will definitely kill him. The demon king Hiranyakashipu had 4 sons. Prahlad was youngest of them. Prahlad was the greatest lover and devotee of God. Hiranyakashipu had declared such a pious son like Prahlad a criminal of the state. Thus he tried his best to kill Prahlad. If you enjoyed this audiobook, please like and subscribe to be notified of when new audiobooks are uploaded. Thank you for listening and learning. Shanti.